I just want to talk about prejudice you guys or people around you might have about either the English or Indonesian language. Me personally, I kind of prejudiced the Indonesian language as something hard and overly complicated because of the levels that they have. That's why I didn't really bother to relearn Indonesian because I already have this prejudice that I wouldn't really use it because it's too hard, and a lot of my friends already have English. So, did you have any like prejudice about English or Indonesian, or like people around you have prejudice about you using either English or Indonesian?
I did experience that, yeah. Specifically for me, the biggest prejudice for me is that, especially when I first came back from Australia, I was still like very like fresh from like another country, fresh from overseas. So I did go to this is actually quite a story. Like I did go to this like event with like my church community, and there's some people who use English like every day. There's this like certain family that I know, and they have like 3 kids and they use English day to day. So I'd say that they're pretty good and pretty fluent. And that was like right when I came back, like a couple of weeks after. And she asked my mom like, "Hey, Pinky tuh beneran bisa bahasa Inggris apa enggak sih?" Because why did she ask that to my mom? Is because whenever I speak in Indonesian, it tends to be very medok, it tends to be very localized. Like
Oh, okay.
it seems like I didn't even go overseas because my Indonesian is so normal to them. It's a big shock. It's a big prejudice for me from that. Yeah. Yeah.
Michael, did you ever?
No, I don't. I've never really encountered anything of the sort. In my opinion, I mean, from what I remember, there's nothing like that.
Then did you guys have gotten any prejudice from teachers, specifically when you were in Indonesia? Because like, oh kamu bisa bahasa Inggris, berarti nilai bahasa Inggris kamu harus yang paling bagus. Did that ever happen to you?
Um, no, but not with teachers. But I remember there was a time where like my my score is lower than another friend of mine, and it become like I remember there was a time where my friend joked about it. But yeah, that was it. Because
Okay.
the
Makes
other friend of
sense.
mine learns in EF, English first.
Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah.
why he has a good English.
For me, from teachers, I feel like they do have this certain expectation for me, and I feel like most of the time I can always reach that, except for that time in year 8 where I was in a class with someone who's actually pretty good at English too. It was like a natural thing for him. So our scores were always like top to bottom. And since our like
Okay.
for like computer-based tests, when they print out your scores, it's like from name order, right? And our
Mm.
our absent numbers were like really close to each other because like it was M and K, so like it was K first and then M. So sometimes there were cases where we had the same score, but then people in my class and like in my school in general, they would actually look for the rank first. They would see, oh, who's first in this class? Let me see. And then they would see that it's this other kid, but then he had the same score as me. And some people would be like, "Why is he higher than you?" I'm like, "No, I mean we have this exact same score." But for for marks, I think I never really had a big problem unless the test was super hard. Like I once did a test that was really hard and I only got like a 90, I'm pretty sure. But then it was still okay. For the teacher didn't like get mad at me that it wasn't like 100 or like a 95, but because the test, she knew that the test was harder than usual. So yeah, that's it for me, I guess.
So, then when you get a lower score than your peers in English, did you feel disappointed in yourself?
Well, yeah, I did feel a little bit disappointed. It wasn't too bad because sometimes I think, oh, it's because it's it's very selfish thinking, but it's like sometimes I think, oh, it's an Indonesian English test
Mm.
made by
Oh
Indonesian,
yeah.
marked by Indonesian. So
Yeah, honestly, me too. But I've never actually looked at it from high class perspective that it's an Indonesian English test. But I was actually quite hard on myself a lot of the times. I felt like, oh, like I felt like people. It was also influenced by like people's views of me because like, oh, she lived in Australia for 5 years. She must be like really really good. Like sometimes I can't always live up to those expectations that people have of me. And sometimes when like things don't go my way, I do get a little bit sad. But I do get over it eventually. So yeah.
And also like what is it? It's like I do get disappointed, but I do use that as an opportunity to correct myself, right? So maybe the mistakes that I made were genuine, what is it? Proper mistakes is what I was, yeah, good mistakes.